Hey everyone, today we're going to share with you the 5 van build mistakes that I made.
Before we head inside, make sure you hit that subscribe button and we'll check out what they are.
So the first and biggest mistake that I'm kicking myself for is I didn't build a kickboard into the cabinets. So the kickboard is at the bottom of your cabinet. When you're standing near it, your foot would go underneath the cabinet versus hitting it right on the front. And the reason that I wish I had done that is in the wintertime we like to have a rug down on the floor so that our feet aren't cold. And you can't exactly pull out the fridge or open cabinet doors without moving that rug out of the way and then doing what you need to do. So, little Bella's being so cute. So if you're building your van again, I would definitely recommend building like a 2-inch bottom kickboard around the whole cabinet so that you don't have to worry about standing up against it and having to stand back those couple of inches so that your feet aren't kicking your cabinets and getting the bottom of them dirty. It's a simple thing and I wish I had done it.
Okay, so our next mistake has to do with airflow. So we have a ceiling fan in the front at the kitchen, and that's to help with, smells and the exhaust from the propane burners, stuff like that. But if we were to do it again, we'd put a second ceiling fan right here above the bed. That's because hot summer nights, you're not getting all that airflow from the front fan. If you have 2 ceiling fans, you can suck one in and the other out, and that way you have tons of airflow so that you'll be comfortable.
So the next mistake I made has to do with the heater. When I was building up my van, I was being cheap and I didn't want to buy a heater, and I thought I could rough it in a Canadian winter, which is so wrong. So I bought the heater last and installed it last. If I were to do this all over again, one of the biggest mistakes I made is I didn't install the heater first. Doing that first would have made me build the whole van around it, and at the end of the van build, I ended up throwing the heater in this extra cabinet down here, which works fine. It was just a big hassle to get it in here, and I still haven't made a cabinet door for it and all that stuff. So this is a mistake specific to me, but if you're being a little bit cheap on a heater, just get it and spend the money on it and put it where you want it and work your whole van build around that, especially if you're doing a Canadian winter in your van.
Okay, so the fourth mistake that Logan up on is battery storage. So there's lots of sun outside. We've got 200 watts of solar up top, plenty to draw in. Problem is, in the back, the 2 batteries that are there are 200 amp hours total. They're deep cycle AGMs. When you get down to about 50% of your battery, you don't want to go any lower. So technically, we only have 100 amp hours of battery in the back. During the day, when we're charging our phones, we're charging our laptops, stuff like that, we're drawing a lot of power. We take most of that away. By the time we get to nighttime, we're running the fan, we're running the lights, stuff like that. We're noticing that our battery is very low and we can't charge our laptops again. We can't charge our phones again. So if we were to do it again, we would put an extra 100 amp hours at least to make at least 300 amp hours of battery storage.
So the last mistake that I made on the van build was just being a little bit too ambitious in keeping the rear AC/heater unit that came with the van when I bought it. So when I bought it, it was a prisoner van and they had to keep the people in the back cool and hot during the winter, so they had a rear unit that would heat and cool the van for you. Problem is that only works when the van is driving and when the motor is on. A couple people told me to keep it, and so I did, but doing so meant cutting all the cords and moving it to a new best place, which is underneath this shelf. I would never, ever do this again, and maybe this only applies to my van build specifically, but I know that some of you are building out vans and you have things that apply to your van build specifically that maybe you wouldn't do again. So if you could learn a lesson and think things through from me, I'm happy to share it with you. So this rear AC unit cost so much money to fix and get all the lines put in again, and honestly that AC shop saw me coming from 25 miles away. they charged me way too much and I paid way too much. So I feel so much hatred towards this AC unit that I rarely ever use it, and to be honest, I don't even think it works. So it's just one of those money pits that I would take out of the van and rather have the garage space and storage for, rather than having a massive hunk of metal in the middle of the van taking up so much space. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We hope that you were able to learn some mistakes that we made and some mistakes that you don't want to make in your future van build.
Yeah, and if you have made a big mistake, maybe comment below and let us know what it was. Make sure to subscribe to see other content that we're releasing and to like this video if it helped you out.
Yeah, thanks again, guys.
We'll see you later.
Bye.